Hello there, my name is TheoTrex, and today we are going to be doing a review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the complete series. Now, I've been doing reviews of the episodes when they've been coming out, so go check those out so you know how I feel at the moment of those. But after giving some time to rethink everything, today I'm going to be doing a review of the entire series. The first episode aired on Disney Plus on May 27th, and it ran for 6 episodes total. I'm gonna get to a complaint about that. It takes place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and it centers around an old and worn-out Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was once again played by Ewan McGregor, and the show also stars Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader. Going into Obi-Wan, I was excited as all hell because I was in a big Star Wars mood for some reason. I've been playing a lot of Jedi Fallen Order, which, you know what, was trying to play it last night. Stupid fucking part was this droid and Walker gave up. It's where you save the Wookiees, but and I really had a high hope for this show. You know, it's like, oh god, who's gonna show up? General Grievous, Darth Maul, Ahsoka, Jar Jar? None of them showed up. That's okay. So I was so excited to see Darth Vader again, and you know what? After finishing the final episode, I'm gonna say that I wasn't disappointed. So yeah, that's something good I can say about the show, is that I was not disappointed with it. Let's just say that I think that Obi-Wan Kenobi is a great show, but that isn't to say it doesn't have its flaws. It's just that, in my opinion, the good stuff overshadows the bad stuff mostly. Let's get into what I love about the show, and that is the acting. I love Obi-Wan. I love Ewan McGregor's performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi. When there are moments where he realizes something, you can see the realization in his face. You can feel what thoughts he is going through. I loved it, and I loved his relationships with people in this movie. Not movie, show. Forgot this is the first time I'm reviewing a show on the thing, but I really do love his relationship between him and a character who is technically a spoiler. So I will discuss more about that in the non-spoilers, even though we all know who she is. He plays a much more sad and sappy version of the character. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want anything to do with the Jedi. He doesn't want anything to do with the Force. And I think this show does a great job portraying that, and portraying how he struggles with the Force and struggles with his first lightsaber battle to then later on regaining his power later through. I love how they show that throughout. More stuff I liked was in the spoiler section, so I'll be talking about more of that in the spoiler section because it's a lot to talk about, you know. So let's get into what I didn't like about it before we go back to praising it in the spoiler section, and that is stuff with the Inquisitors. Fifth brother was alright. The Grand Inquisitor was just meh. He was missing from the show most of the time. I don't even know what sister this character is, so tell me who the hell that is. And Reva, I just did not care for Reva's character. In my opinion, you could have taken out the Inquisitor stuff. Maybe keep Reva. She is important to the show. Maybe not even make Reva an Inquisitor. Just make her fucking Sith Lord that, you know, I'll talk about in spoilers. So we didn't need all the Inquisitor stuff in this show. And after Darth Vader's introduction, I feel like the Inquisitor shit could have just been completely removed. Reva's character is honestly just a complete roller coaster. There's moments where it's like, okay, you know what, this is good, and then there's moments where it's like, that's kind of bad. Something happens in episode 5, which we will get to in the spoilers. So, you know, that's like, okay, that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, I'll talk a lot more about this in the spoilers. She just has a lot of fucking plot armor, which bothered the hell out of me. But I did think she got better at the end of the show, though. I do think she had a good redemption. Her character became a lot more interesting in episode 5, but episodes 1 to 4 did not care for her. The lightsaber fights were cool. It's great to see a lightsaber fight in a Disney show because we haven't really had that many, you know. But it's great to see lightsaber fights again. These are, in my opinion, these are much better choreographed in this show than they were in the fucking sequel trilogy. Like, God, can I talk about that in Rise of Skywalker when they're fighting on the thing, they're fighting on the ship, you know? She fucking freezes Kylo's lightsaber just to hit it. Like, you're freezing his lightsaber, kill him. Like, what the hell, man? If I ever get to reviewing the sequels, I have a lot to say about that damn film. But this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Positive vibes here. So, yeah. And the first fight was Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Was a bit murky, was a bit bad. But I'm going to excuse it because he's not fought in 10 years. Obi-Wan has not fought with a lightsaber in around 10 or so years. So, and I think it makes perfect sense. And everyone's saying, oh, Obi-Wan fought perfectly fine in Rebels, and he's even older than that. Well, okay, he's used his lightsaber between the events of Obi-Wan and Rebels, assuming he has. He has regained his skills to use the lightsaber. And that's a shorter gap between Revenge of the Sith and Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was 10 years. He hasn't had his lightsaber in 10 years. So obviously he would not be that good with fighting. He struggles with the Force at sometimes. You know, it's just a lot. It's really just like, come on, man. So, I think, something else that I didn't like about the show was that it felt a bit squished and rushed, you know? This is definitely a fault to the fact that these are 40-minute episodes in a 6-part series. I hate this so much, Disney. Give us like 9 episodes for a TV show and not just 6 was like 40 minutes. Moon Knight, in my opinion, was an amazing show, which I was going to do a review on, but it's like, you know what? It died down, so not really a reason. I loved Moon Knight, but that ending, man, that ending was so rushed because it was like 40 minutes. And these episodes are usually like 50 minutes. But yeah, and you know what? I feel like Miss Marvel is going to suffer because it's most likely going to have the 8 or 9, the 6 episodes. Which, just please stop doing Disney, man. Do it like 9 episodes. It makes your shows so much better. So yeah, like, come on, WandaVision gets the 9 episodes, and I think WandaVision wasn't that good of a show, so that's a separate rant for another day. What the fuck am I talking about? Either way, Obi-Wan Kenobi is a great series. It does have its flaws, but luckily those flaws didn't drag the show down, at least in my opinion. Obi-Wan Kenobi gets a B-. So, you know the deal. We talked about everything non-spoilery. Let's get into the spoilers. 3, 2, 1. This is your warning. Get the fuck out. Back to the stuff I loved. I loved how they treated Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in this show. Seeing how Obi-Wan desperately tries to save Darth Vader only to fail and realize that it is no use. Anakin is truly dead. Obi-Wan just calls him Darth, which brings it back to A New Hope when they first met, and he's like, oh, hey, Darth. Because, you know, Anakin is truly dead. There's only Darth Vader now. And seeing Anakin in the helmet of Darth Vader was such a beautiful moment where Anakin says, you know, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. And, you know, the moment where he apologizes to Anakin, it's such a great moment because you can see it's another example of great acting in this show. And, you know, it reminds me of in Rebels when Ahsoka found out that Anakin was Darth Vader. It is a beautiful moment in the show. And you know what, I just like how this scene was like symbolized. The blue, when Anakin says you did not create your own failure or something like that, it then shines to red when he says that Anakin is truly dead because of the lightsabers and all.
I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. The same way, I will destroy you. And my friend is truly dead.
Then shines to red when he says that Anakin is truly dead because of the lightsabers and all that. By the way, I loved how the lightsabers casted this lighting on the face. I like it when lightsabers are used as lighting, because I think that could create some really cool visuals. I think it's just truly beautiful, and this is the Star Wars that I would like to see. Not fucking sharp teeth and a Sith Lord. I also really like the relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia. That was the character I was talking about earlier. Although, I do feel like Leia did overstay her welcome a bit. I feel like maybe, okay, you know what? I have you now. Let's get you sent home. But, you know what? It's fine, I guess. I liked Leia's presence. Her acting is a bit, like, wonky at points, but she's a child actor. You can't really fault her for that. So, I'll pass. But it was still nice to see Leia, and adds a bit more to seeing how Leia jumped up after Luke mentioned Ben, and it was also nice to see Luke. And there were some confusing parts that could be explained, mainly how Luke doesn't remember Reva attacking him, because he had only first seen a lightsaber in A New Hope. But I think here he just thinks it's a Tusken Raider attacking, because I don't even think he saw her face. He didn't see the lightsaber. He was knocked out when Reva was gonna kill him. Which, you know what, also I want to talk about, I did like the little redemption Reva had at the end. Basically, her becoming what Anakin didn't become, and that was spare them, you know, all that. She showed mercy, and she kind of became a Jedi at the end. That was pretty nice. Maybe we can see Reva again, but again, her character's just wonky. And also had to go back and double check that Luke had known Ben before. And you know what? He did. So glad they did that. And I forgot to mention this in the script. Hello there. I'm glad they said it.
Hello there.
And he says it in kind of Alec Guinness way. Wait, am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. The Alec Guinness way, where, you know, he's a bit more older. He's not like, hello there. He's like, hello there. You guys like my Aaron McGregor impression? It's all about Anakin. I have the high ground. Oh, God. So, I'm just honestly glad that this series doesn't really break the canon. Yeah, it can be a bit weird how Rebels takes place 5 years after this and Obi-Wan aged that much, but still, it doesn't really break the canon that much. It almost did at the beginning when he's killing the Grand Inquisitor, but he came back, so yeah. Now back to what irks me with this show, and that is obviously Reva. She has so much plot armor and is just a badly written character in my opinion, until the end, you know. The plot armor here is just, okay, yeah, you know, it's like, she constantly hunts down Kenobi and constantly goes against the wishes of the Inquisitors. How did they not just kick her off? It's like, yeah, you can still be a part of our thing. But, like, they still keep her. Yeah, Darth Vader gave her Grand Inquisitor, and he probably didn't know the Grand Inquisitor was alive. So he was probably just fucking with Reva, playing around with her. But it's like, come on, just kill her right then and there. And he did stab her through the gut, which I don't care what anyone says. I do think Reva could have survived that, because I mean, Darth Maul was cut in half. Maul could have definitely survived being cut in half. So it's possible that Reva survived being stabbed. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor says revenge does wonders for someone with the will to live, or something like that. Here's the clip.
Revenge does wonders for the will to live, don't you think?
So I do believe that. I don't believe that Reva survived being stabbed as a child, though, because I mean, younglings, they didn't even complete their training, right? I mean, wouldn't Anakin sense the fact that I don't know how the Force fully works, so please correct me on this in the comments. Wouldn't Anakin sense the fact that Reva was still alive? You know, it's like, man, that bitch still alive. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I say that a lot. So yeah, I honestly don't. Maybe he just walked out of the room. Maybe that's not how the Force works. Maybe he didn't know, because apparently she just did hide along the dead bodies, and apparently maybe she didn't even get stabbed, because I don't remember her saying that, but I did read a lot online that she did get stabbed as a child. I'll have to go back and check, y'all. Please correct me if I'm wrong on this. If I'm wrong on how Darth Maul survived, because I think he survived because he had hatred. I do think it's possible that Reva survived because she had hatred for Darth Vader. But also, I don't understand why she would go after a little boy. You know? Like, I thought she was gonna go protect him, but no, she's gonna go after the little boy for no reason other than just like, yeah, you're related to Darth Vader. I mean, her motive was to kill Darth Vader, so it, you know, it's, yeah. Where am I in the script? I'm interested to hear, to be corrected on this, and I apologize for any mistakes I make during this review. And there are other things in this show that, when you examine a bit closer, it asks a lot of questions. Why didn't anyone hear Tala talking to Obi-Wan on the base when there was a guy right next to her, and she was kind of loud considering it was an incredibly quiet environment? So, you know, where was the Star Destroyer after Obi-Wan left Darth Vader on the planet? Like, wasn't it right there? Wouldn't they see? Or, you know what, maybe he snuck away. Just a lot of stuff to be asked here, but you know what, I prefer not to think too much about it. Just let the show, for the great thing, I just enjoy the show, for the great things it did give us. Two more things that bugged me with this show: the music and Hayden Christensen. Which I just remembered there is a lot about Hayden Christensen that can be completely bullshitted or completely thrown into the trash, which I'll still talk about. There was an extreme lack of the Force theme and Imperial March, which, don't worry, they did play at the end of the show, which I was extremely happy about. But I feel like it could have had a lot more impact if maybe when Obi-Wan opened up the lightsaber thing and he grabbed a lightsaber, maybe if he ignited it there, the awesome Force theme could play. I forgot how it went. Or when Darth Vader, when we first see Darth Vader on the thing, on his base, we could probably hear the Imperial March. Or, you know, I just wish that we did get to hear some more of the music throughout this show, but I'm glad it did play at the end. And I completely forgot to talk about James Earl Jones. He is great as Darth Vader once again, because he's always great as Darth Vader, man. Even in Rogue One, where you can hear that he is tired in the voice, you know that he still does a good job as Darth Vader. I think they did a better job with his voice here. I think they used some like voice modulars or something to make his voice sound better. Apparently he didn't even voice the character in this one. I don't know, a lot of things going on to make his voice sound good in this show. And you know what, Darth Vader is a fucking beast in this show. He snaps people's necks left and right. He stops an entire goddamn ship and breaks it in half. And apparently this isn't even prime Vader in his prime. That's like a few more years from when Obi-Wan takes place. Darth Vader is definitely the best part of this show. And you know what, Disney, you fucked up Luke, you fucked up Han Solo, you fucked up Boba Fett.
Like a panther. Yes?
You fucked up those characters, but for some reason, you just can't fuck up Darth Vader. Like, you genuinely cannot mess up this character. And I think Disney did a better job with the character. They kind of made him this horrifying, terrifying beast. Because, you know, this is a younger version of Vader. This is like when... This is like, again, Vader in his prime, what we are seeing in the Disney content. And like, again, that fucking Rogue One scene, man, it's terrifying. Hayden does a good job as Anakin Skywalker, and when we saw his face in the helmet, I teared up because he, you know, it cuts, he's like, oh, you didn't kill Anakin, I did, and it cuts between his voice and James Earl Jones' voice. Episode 6 is just the best of the series. And you know what, it's going back to, I already mentioned that, but back to Hayden. What the fuck, man? I honestly feel like there could have been a bit more with him. Obviously, he was in the show a lot because he was in Darth Vader's suit. But I feel like we could have seen him a bit more. Again, maybe if we extended the series like by 2 or 3 more episodes, we could have gotten a bit more flashbacks with him. Because, I mean, he didn't really have that much of a speaking role. Again, he shows up near the end of the series as like Anakin Skywalker. We only see him like floating around in the tube. We saw that little hallucination, and they advertised it a lot. Like, oh man, it feels so good to be back as Anakin Skywalker. Yet he only had 1 episode where we fully saw him as Anakin Skywalker, and that being episode 5. But you know what? We did get a good amount of Anakin Skywalker. So I can't really complain that much. So take everything I said and shove it in the trash with all the prequels. I mean, sequels. Prequels were good, man. And let's go back to the topic of breaking canon. I do realize that there is actually a part of the show that breaks canon, but correct me if I'm wrong on this. Qui-Gon appearing as a Force Ghost. It's awesome he showed up, played by Liam Neeson, so I'm willing to forgive this. But I don't think he ever completed training to become a Force Ghost, and instead had to communicate through lights in Clone Wars. But I think Yoda did mention that he will like find his way to become a Force Ghost. So let me know how he did do this, because I'm really interested to hear the reason. And you know what, before I ramble on in too much, here's my final thoughts. I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it definitely had its issues. But I don't hate it. I'm not going to let those issues ruin the show for me. And unlike Jurassic World Dominion, I had high hopes. Like Jurassic World Dominion, I had high hopes for it. Went into it, came out not disappointed. Unlike Jurassic World Dominion. Which, by the way, that video got like 300 views in just like a few days. So, pretty cool. Wonder how many this is going to get. So, yeah. There's my grade, you know, all that. But, right now, I'm kind of having a suspicious mind. And I can't help falling in love with the thought of it. Starting to feel like a hound dog for this one. The next review is Elvis, which I'm excited to see because, believe it or not, I'm a fan of Elvis. So, until next time, may the Force be with you.